And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, another Facebook Live on this February 7th, Tuesday. Today we are very fortunate. From the Rancho Cucamonga office in lovely California, we have Myiesha Majors. Myiesha, welcome to the show. Don't you love our
Was I
studio
supposed to
audience?
clap?
Aren't they? Yeah, our studio audience is very energetic this morning, aren't they?
I mean, they are great.
Well, thank you, and they appreciate that. All right, tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff, Myiesha.
So I'm a wife, I'm a mom. I've been doing real estate for the past 9 years. Prior to doing real estate, I was just telling you that I worked for the banks. I was working. I won't name the banks, but I worked for the banks dealing with, when the mortgage meltdown happened before. I did that for like 15 years. I did short sales. I did deed and lose, charge offs, all the way up to loan modification. So that's how long I've been in the
Wasn't
business.
that
That's a little
fun?
bit about me. You said, was it fun?
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. It was not fun.
It was not fun. It was sad. It got better once we were able to do loan modifications and actually help people. That was like the good stuff. So that
Right.
really made it worthwhile. I remember when I first started in the business and they hired me as a short sale specialist, like assistant. And so they, handed me these files. You need to do this, you need to do that. And I was like, wait, are we taking people's houses from them? Are we making them sell their houses? Like, I had no clue because prior to that, I had come from like credit card world. So, I
Right.
had dealt with, collections and stuff there. But to, think of it on the scale of like homes being lost, that was a little different. So, took me a minute to kind of get used to what we were doing and not feel, I guess, so bad about it. But it does, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth but it's like, I work for this company, I got to do what I got to do. So
Right. Yeah. And so when people, you're talking about cash for keys and do deed and lose a foreclosure, all that good stuff. So when people say, "Oh, the bubble's coming," it's just like 2007. I go, "Yeah, not even close." Watch the movie The Big Short, right, Maisha?
right, that's a good movie to watch, but this is nothing like that. We're not dealing with risky loans, we're not dealing with crazy you know just take there's so many safeguards in place to protect people and make sure that none of that stuff is happening again. So we are
Yeah.
not in that type of situation. I'm like, the cooling down or the slowing down or the shift, whatever you want to call it, of the market doesn't have to do with a crash that's getting ready to happen. So I think people really need to know that.
Yeah, everybody should watch The Big Short so they get an idea. I mean, BC paper crash, feds taking over banks. I remember all of that. And, it wasn't fun, doing short sales. I mean, it was necessary. You had to do it, but you were dealing with sellers that were in dire straits. And today, there's never been more equity in people's homes in the history of our country. I mean, the only thing you can complain about a little bit now is, the interest rates, but they're still pretty damn good, right?
I mean, they're what they were pre-pandemic.
Yeah,
So, maybe a tad bit higher, but we're really in the pre-pandemic stage as far as the market is concerned. So I think we're in a good spot. And then the lenders have so many different options. Rate buy downs, that's like really helping a lot of people. So, um, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. There's still people out here buying. I've been busy, busy, busy since even, I mean, I was busy last year, but since the first of the year, it's just nonstop.
right. Yeah, you notice people are out there. I mean, buyers have a choice now. I mean, when I say choice, California is probably, you guys have the tightest inventory, always have, especially when it's like this. But at least now they have a little bit of time. They can have an appraisal, have a home inspection, get a rate buy down maybe, and then refinance. Because we all know the rates are going to get a little bit better, even though they're not terrible now. They're going to get better.
Absolutely. And then at that point, you refinance and you get a fixed rate.
Right. Get a fixed rate from a buy down, and whatever's left on your buy down, they take it off your principal, which is kind of awesome, right? If you have money in escrow and it comes off, and So this really, I mean, it's and people, I talk to people and they go, "Well, I should have bought a year ago." Okay, you're going to
Hmm.
continue to penalize yourself. I mean, then buy now. This is the second best time. It's
Right.
always better than renting.
Always better than renting. You rent, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. That's just that.
Right, Joe. All right, so you say you're busy. I mean, you mentioned you had four pendings right now. Good job. Congratulations. You're busy. You got stuff
Yes.
going on. Tell us about it.
I have, people in escrow. I have escrow that just closed. I have people who are preparing their homes for me to put on the market in the next couple of weeks. So, things are going good. It's not as slow as some people think that it is. I mean, it's just, depends on, your pipeline and what you've been doing consistently to stay in touch and to stay in
Yep.
front of people, so when those times come, they come to you. I've been lucky and thankful that I've had, return clients come back to me, whether they want to now sell and move up, sell and move out of the state, referring other clients to me, buying investment properties. So that has been, really rewarding.
Good job. And you find the sellers are a little bit more easy to deal with right now too, aren't they?
Some of them, yeah, they're starting to kind of, understand what's going on in the market and have realistic expectations.
Yeah, we probably have another month or two before I can already see it starting to switch. I look at the company numbers and we got way more pendings going on now, and there's going to be look at there was a decent amount of expireds at the end of the year. I think these people are deciding what they're going to do. They're going to come back on the market. So
Hmm.
tell us, so and how long you been doing this, Myiesha? Now, how long you been in the business?
This is my ninth year.
Your ninth year, and you're one of the one if not the top producing individual agent in that office, right? So tell
One
us
of them. There's
one
there's
of
a
them. Yeah, there's a
few.
couple.
There's a couple of us. I'm on the. I'm in there.
Yeah, you're in the
I'm
top
one
three
of
all the
them.
time. Yeah, you're one of them. You're one of them, which is great because it's a very productive office Brock's got going there. So
Yeah,
congratulations. Right? You have some good, healthy competition in there.
absolutely. We all do our best to make it happen all the time.
Right. And there's so many ways you can do it. I know you use social media. So just give an idea of how 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 you maintain being a top producer year in, year out. How do you run your business?
So for me, I consistently stay on top of, my social media platform, making sure that it looks professional, making sure that I am putting and pushing content out as much as possible. I love to educate my clients and just family and friends. I like people to know not just what's going on in the market and what they're reading, but also just understand the process of a buying and selling of a home, and what hiccups may come. People, hear things all the time and they think when they hear them, they mean something other than what they really mean. So I always like being that person to be able to educate people, explain things to people. And I mean, I find myself being more of an educational realtor than just a realtor. So I think that really stands out and helps, because people will call me, and just because they need advice, they need help, and it turns into that's going to be a client of mine, or that ends up being a client of mine. I don't have to um, do as much, I guess I would say, follow, I won't say follow up or following through, but because I'm constantly providing information, that brings people to me. So I'm providing it on social media all the time. When people call, I pick up my phone. That's another big thing. Making sure that you're answering your phone, and just, being good to my clients. I make sure that I'm not like a stranger to them after we close escrow. I make sure, that I'm sending out those closing gifts, that I'm, following up with them, being a resource for them if they need a plumber, if they need an electrician. All those things are things that I do that consistently help people feel more comfortable coming back to me.
Yeah, full service. You over deliver, under promise, and then you provide. Because I've seen your social media stuff. You provide really good information, and because now you've been in the business 9 years, I would imagine your repeat and referral business. People referring you, like you just said, must be getting really good, huh?
Yeah, I get a lot of referral business, which is awesome. I mean, I would say most of my business comes between social media and referrals now, or repeat business. So it's, it's been a blessing to be able to be of service to so many people and for them to feel comfortable with me that they're sending their family members, they're sending, their friends to me. So those are things that I don't take lightly and I like so appreciate because my goal is always to help people build home ownership, and home ownership is what helps you build, have a stake in, not only generational wealth, but just, you're paying property taxes, you're doing all these things. It means so much for you when you're a homeowner when it comes to voting and making sure that you're doing what's best for your community. I think you take a stake in your community, you take a stake in things a little bit differently when you're a homeowner versus when you're just renting somewhere.
Totally, yeah. And the pride of home ownership too. It feels different when you're making that paying rent is one thing. Buying your, when you pay your mortgage, you have a principal reduction, you have tax benefits, you have all kinds of things going on that you just don't get until you own. And when you own it, it all comes together. Even the way you treat the property, like you just mentioned, is totally different when you own it versus you're renting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so well, before I do that, give them just a little bit of, you mentioned ideas and information. Like what kind of things do you put out on social media and what platforms are you on?
So, I do a lot of, I listen to blogs, watch blogs, but the biggest source of information sometimes that I get is from, like I watch and read Keeping Current Matters. There's so much content on there that us as realtors can use. You can use it for free. There's also a site called The Lighter Side if you're looking for jokes or something funny to keep things, a little light and funny, but to get the message out there. So I use stuff like that. I read, the New York Times, the LA Times, their real estate sections. Not every day, but at least once a week, I'm making sure that I'm like reading that stuff. I know they tell people like stay away from all this news, all this negativity. But I feel like because there's so much clickbait out there and there's so much misinformation, it's my job to understand what's being said. So then when I'm talking to my clients, I know exactly what to tell them and how to help
Yeah,
them understand what they're reading and what they're not reading. And you got people who are experts who haven't ever sold a property.
right.
Some of
And
these
that
people
always
are
cracks me
renting.
up.
Some of these people are renting properties and they're telling people what to do. So go
Yeah,
figure.
I always cracked up when I was selling, and people would call me and tell me about this article, and I used to say, I wonder how many homes the guy who wrote that article sold last year. Well, he's not a realtor, probably none. Exactly.
Right.
So
Yeah,
everybody's
these
got an
people
opinion.
are, I mean, I know they're economists. Yeah, I'm like, I know they're economists. I know they watch the markets. I know they watch all these different things, but they're not the ones in the trenches doing the job every day. They're not the
Right.
ones who are seeing the, reality of it and understand, never are they on TV just, telling people like, oh, if you're a veteran, you can do this. This is the kind of loan you can get. These are the type of benefits that are out there. No, they just want to scare people and keep people, I of course, the news is all about scaring people and directing people into thinking certain things. Of course, we all know that. But
Hmm.
I feel like it's my duty to pay attention to some of it so I can make sure that I understand when people come asking me, well, what about this? Well, what about they said this on, this news station, or they said that, or they had this specialist on there. These aren't people who do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Even at the gym this morning, a young guy came up to me and said, well, the interest rates are terrible right now. I go, well, the only rate that's at 6% is the 30-year fixed. Everything else is in the fives. No way. I go, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
don't if you're watching the news, like you said, it's good if you can stomach watching it so they know what they're hearing and so you can give them the truth. But ultimately, there is a lot of negativity. But like you say, be educated.
Yeah.
I think it's smart.
You got to pick and choose what you watch. You can't watch it every day or all day, definitely,
Yeah.
because you'll just get lost and be scared. You need
Yeah.
to watch some of it so you can understand, And if you're not watching it, definitely, like, I read it every day. I read news every day. That's like my thing. Like my husband and my son, I'm like, I'm reading news. They like laugh at me. I'm like, I'm reading my news. So I read it every day. I don't necessarily watch it every day. So
Right.
and I pick and choose what I'm gonna read. I'm not gonna, like, some articles, it's just like I just can't. Some of this stuff, it's so much you just can't, because it's gonna take you down a whole different path. But I
Yeah.
try to read the stuff that has to do with real estate, that has to do with the economy, that has to do with rates and things like that. Also, another big thing that I think some realtors miss out on and lose, um, is talking to your lenders, making sure you're building a relationship with a really good lender that can help you understand all there is to know, or as much as you can as a realtor, about their end of it, because
Right.
a more educated agent is going to be able to help their client even more. Sometimes, you're just sending people to lenders. You don't know if this person has filed bankruptcy. You don't know if they even have a job, because you're not asking the questions. So I think having a good relationship with the lender will help you troubleshoot and ask the right questions before you waste time. Sometimes people need some credit repair. Sometimes people, need to just have a real conversation about, okay, like, you have people come to you, I want a payment for $1,500. Well, I'm in California, so you can't even rent a room for almost $1,500 here. So, you have to have those real conversations with people, unfortunately. Also, another good relationship to keep is with title and escrow reps, because they're going to be able to explain things to you to help you with your clients. Title reps have so much at their disposal that they can help you with, as far as um, marketing to clients, farming to clients. It doesn't just have to be a door knocking situation, or a cold calling situation. They have tools and things to help you troubleshoot and think outside the box. So I think that's important as agents for us to make sure that we are keeping in communication and in relationship with good lenders, good title reps, to make sure that they are leading us down the right path. Also, I mean, I have good enough relationships with some of my lenders. They send clients to me. They get a client who's not pre-approved, but just call them. They get them pre-approved, and they're like, "Hey, I got somebody who needs a good agent. I trust you. Can you help them?" So, I mean, at least I would say 1 to 2 deals a year will come from a lender for me.
That's nice. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, this brings me to my favorite part and my favorite question. So 9 years in, and you're, killing it, doing great. But if you were to do this all over again, what would be the three, telling somebody getting starting out or wanting to go to the next level, what would be the three most important things you would tell them to focus on?
The three most important things to focus on is building a database of people who you know, who you trust, who you believe, if they were in a room and you weren't there, they'd be willing to mention your name if somebody needed a service that you provide. So you definitely want to build that list and make sure that you're staying in relationship with those people, not just calling them like, "Hey, you got somebody for me to, sell a property to, or somebody who wants to buy a property." Make sure that you foster those relationships, talk to those people, check in on those people. Also, consistency, consistency, consistency. I can't say it enough. Like, you know the person who is consistent and doesn't give up is the person who is going to eventually be on top of their game. So, find something that you feel like you can do, and that you can do very well, and do it consistently every single day. Like for me, it was social media. And when I first got in this business, I was not a social media person at all. Like, I had a couple of social media pages, but they were really just for me to, like, just check in on people, and, for lack of a better word, I guess I would say, be nosy, like read what's going on in people's lives. I wasn't posting my own stuff on there really. And then eventually, once I got into the business and I started doing research, and I was like, what can I do to stand out? That was what I ended up doing. A lot of people weren't doing it when I first got in the business. So I decided to do it. Nobody else is doing this. Let me put this out here. Once I start seeing more and more people in the business do it, then I ventured off into doing videos, going live, not being scared of my own voice on camera.
Yeah.
And sometimes my own face. Sometimes we're all, we're our biggest critics. So once you can get over that portion of it, and you can say, you know what, I know what I look like, I know what I sound like, and so does everybody else. And they
Right.
still talk to me and like me. So I might as well just go ahead and do this. The people want the information. So first, I would say building your database, consistency, consistency, consistency. And third, I would say don't be a secret agent. Don't be scared to get out there to network with people. I network with people all the time. I don't necessarily go to, these big networking events. I call my networking, I do it within, because I'm a mom. So I do it within, going and participating at things with my son's school, with his district. If there is something that I can do, and I have the time to do it, I'm going to do it, whether it's PTA, whether it's, something that the principal needs, like they know, oh, we can call Mrs. Majors. She'll come help. Mrs. Majors is great. And why not walk up there in my Berkshire Hathaway t-shirts, or, my real estate t-shirts that say, Realtor Myiesha Majors with my number on the back. I've gotten business that way from people, so don't be a secret agent. Make sure that you are networking and putting yourself out there so people know that they can call on you, and make sure that you're trustworthy. Make sure that you are um, educating yourself. So when people ask you those questions, whether you know it or not, you know where you can get that answer for them from and lead them to the right place. So those would be what I would say would be my biggest pieces of advice.
I love it too. And the CRM, just to be a company guy here for a second, we have that great virtual agent center 2.0, which really sends them quality stuff. It's all branded. Consistency is one of my favorite words, because without consistency, there's nothing. And then I agree with you. Prospecting, don't be a secret agent. Very important. I love the fact that you have your phone number on your t-shirts. That's great.
Yes,
That's perfect. All right. So all that equals production. It equals, when you start getting results on a consistent basis from being consistent, okay, it really changed your outlook of the business. When you're making money in this business, helping people, very satisfying, very good. When you're not, it's not as fun, right?
absolutely not as fun. It's not as
Yeah.
fun, but you have to figure out what works for you. Some people love TikTok. They do it really well. I'm like, push that out there. Some people love, going and knocking on doors, and they're like, I get my exercise and I can knock on some doors, and, I knock 50 doors a day. Whatever it is for you, do it. Don't do something that you don't like doing. That's kind of how I feel. Somebody told me that a long time ago. They're like, if you go and you're not a door knocker, you're not a cold caller, you're just going to be weird when you do it.
Right.
So instead of forcing yourself into doing something you're uncomfortable with, force yourself to doing something you're comfortable with and do it consistently. The consistency is what's going to be uncomfortable. Is
Mhm.
staying on track and doing it even when your phone's not ringing, even when you're not getting, the leads or what have you. Everybody's instant gratification. They want this thing to happen for them in 2 to 3 days. They want, they think I did this for 2 weeks and I didn't get anything. It's just like a diet. It's like, I don't care. Like, I can eat like crazy and I can put on 5 pounds. It's take me like a couple weeks sometimes to lose that same 5 pounds. So you have to be consistent
Oh,
no
yeah.
matter what you do.
Yeah. Super consistency. Yeah. And I agree. I mean, it's a rewarding business when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Everybody has control over if they're going to be successful, if they're willing to be uncomfortable, like you just said, and do the things. And eventually the uncomfortable becomes comfortable, they become habits. And now you're rocking and rolling and doing what you, because I know, because social media wasn't really comfortable for you at first, but now you can do it all day, any day, right? It's really not that bad anymore.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, Myiesha, we're right at time here. I just want to say thank you very much for taking your time out today. This was completely helpful. I'm sure people out there got a lot out of it. Keep rocking it. You're doing awesome. And I really enjoy your energy and enthusiasm. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I have fun.
Always a pleasure, Myiesha. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye,
You
everybody.
too. Thanks. Bye bye.